Hey guys, and welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter card game review. Today up on the docket is a game similar to Apples and Apples, as well as other similar games in that card placing category. This game is called Bad Decisions. It's made by Ian and Susan Price. It's 3 to 9 players, about 13 and up, as well as 15 minutes to play, but you could play longer if you want. Now the difference between Apples to Apples and a game like Bad Decisions is Apples to Apples has categories, and players will play cards similar to those categories, making a funny statement or filling in a blank. In this game, we have a story card, which is what the judge will play, and everybody else is going to fill in whatever the judge chooses for them to play. Now there's 3 different types of cards. You got the Fool, the Crisis, and Bad Decision cards, and sometimes the judge will be having to play 2 of those cards. You don't know which one's it's going to be based on the story, but the last remaining blank is going to be filled in by players. Now, that sounds confusing. That's okay though. I'll show you what I mean. Alright guys, this is Bad Decisions, and this is how you set the game up. There's 4 different types of cards and 4 different locations. Bad Decisions, Fool, Crisis, and Story cards. You get all the players you want, and then you pull out 5 cards for each of them. Luckily, I've already gone ahead and done so. Oh, there we go. And you choose the judge, or the bard, of the game. Now the bard is going to go ahead and pick a story card out after he receives his cards as well, and he'll flip it up and flip it face up right here. The next thing you do is the bard personally will select a Bad Decision and Crisis card, and it'll be based on the color, obviously. And the other players will go ahead and select a Fool card, but only after he selects his first 2. Once he selects his first two cards, he'll go ahead and read them aloud, and the players will pick Fool cards. Let's go ahead and show you an example of play. Okay, so here we have an example of play. Now it's the bard's turn, and this is the bard's story. When we blank, it led to blank. Blank led us in the wrong direction. As you see, there's a red, a black, and then the yellowish color here. He has to put down the first 2 cards, and in different stories, those colors might change. But for instance, for now, he'll be using a Bad Decision and a Crisis. So he'll choose 2, 1 from each stack of cards he has in his hand, and he'll place them down. When we touted meaningless statistics, it led to hazardous chemicals in the local water supply. Blank led us in the wrong direction. Now, play would pass to the other players, and they would have to choose a card from their hand with the Fool category on them, and place them down randomly on the table so that the judge is unaware. The judge might want to shuffle after they place them. Afterwards, the players will then flip over their cards. When we touted meaningless statistics, it led to hazardous chemicals in the local water supply. A vague yet menacing government agency led us in the wrong direction. A gullible email user led us in the wrong direction, or big oil led us in the wrong direction. It would then be based on the judge's or bard's discretion to determine which one of these won. If he wanted big oil to win, he would select that card, removing the rest, and the person who played big oil would then go ahead and say, "That was me." They would then receive the story card, and play would pass to the next player. After play passes to the next player, each and every player is going to draw new cards equal to the cards they spent. For instance, the Fool cards would return to each and every single one of the players who played them, and the bard would get his Crisis and his Bad Decision card. Afterward, the next round would begin, the story would be dropped off, and players would play those cards randomly. Rinse and repeat. Now, there's a couple ways that the game ends. One way would be that every player receives 5 or 7 points, with each story card being awarded to the player who won and being worth 1 point. Another way is if there was actually no players and no bards, and everybody just played until they didn't want to play anymore. You could set time constraints on the game, and that would be fine as well. You could play every single one of the stories, of the story cards, from every single player, and then judge based on that way, which means there's plenty of different ways to play the game. So that's basically how you play Bad Decisions. Let's go ahead and see what I think about it. So Bad Decisions is similar to games that involve players placing story cards down and the other players selecting what cards they want to place down, and the judge then saying, okay, this is the most reasonable or the funniest story, or however they want to judge it, and players will receive points or that card back, and the player with the most points at the end of the game, based on how you'd like to end it, because there's many different variants as to how to end this game specifically, as well as other games like it. Now the one big difference in this game compared to the rest of them is story cards. These story cards involve multiple blanks that you can pretty much fill in anything you want, and the rules are fairly flexible. For instance, we got 2 story cards here. We now return to the unfolding situation where blank, the crisis, led to tragedy because fool, bad decision. So we also have another one. Someone who blank should expect blank. Blank didn't, but it happened anyway. And the judge will get to choose his 2, and the people will get to choose their 1, and the judge will choose whatever the best one that fits the situation. But there's tons of other ways, like I said. You can have all the people play all the different cards, and you judge. Or 2. Or the judge can choose not just the first and second category, but maybe the first and third. And you got tons of great fool cards. Right here you got a multi-billion-dollar defense contractor, or a lazy police officer, the rare socially adept engineer. Posted embarrassing selfies online for the bad decisions, touted meaningless statistics, spread feces on an ex's doorstep, which I would never do. You've got a naked man brandishing a hammer for the crises, as well as losing an online game, or live camera feed from a nightclub's woman's room. And when you put all these things together, you're always going to get different cards, and it's always going to be different. We're unlike in Cards Against Humanity, where you have to keep buying expansions, because eventually the cards get old, the jokes get stale, and you need more, because people are getting tired of hearing the same old same. Now, I'm not going to repeat them here, don't worry, but you're pretty familiar with the bigger, blacker box. And that loses its humor after a while. This game, not so much. However, that being said, this game is not just a game, but it's also kind of a exercise, like almost in grammar, where you're trying to piece together the thing that makes the most sense. And when I judge things, especially in this game, I was looking forward to what made the most concise sense. Because if you have 2 different categories and then you place a fool that does not go with it, it didn't make sense to me and it wasn't as funny. And it wasn't so politically oriented or sexually oriented, so it wasn't an immediate laughter based on just the card itself. It was the entire story that made it funny. And because of that, there's a little leeway as to how a judge is going to judge. Be up to you to decide if that's funny or not. Personally, I find this game to be pretty cool. If you really enjoy games like Cards Against Humanity and Apples to Apples, but you want a refreshing break, a little bit less sexualized, a little bit less politically motivated, then this game might just be your cup of tea. I'm definitely going to put it up on my wall, and because I don't like Cards Against Humanity all that much, if I ever play a game like this, it's going to be bad decisions. Hey guys, thanks for watching our Kickstarter card game review. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, go ahead and check us out here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and comment. If you like Bad Decisions or are interested in checking it out, you should go to baddecisionscg.com. Also, if you enjoy all the content like this, you can go to our website, unfilteredgamer.com. We've got giveaways going on there and blog posts, as well as some other fun stuff like our Kickstarter list, as well as visiting our partners at everythingboardgames.com and thegiveawaygeek.com. Alright guys, that's it for this week. Look forward to seeing you next time.